Now we'll go over to MetaStock, and we're going to have a look at MetaStock, and we're going to look at the system tester. The way you actually access it is by using the dollar symbol up on the toolbar, or also you can get to it via the tools menu up the top there. So we'll just go to the enhanced system tester. This is what it looks like, and as I said, it is going to vary depending on what version of MetaStock you've got. This is version 8, I think, and version 9 will look very similar, but if you have version 7, it's going to look a little bit different. Before I actually get into the system tester itself, I'd just like to talk about 2 of the flaws within the system tester, just to make sure that you understand these before you start testing in MetaStock. Okay, firstly, one of the major flaws is how MetaStock calculates testing of multiple securities. Okay, now when you're trading, you're obviously going to be trading a basket of stocks, aren't you? Or most of us will be trading a basket of stocks. The way MetaStock does it, or the way MetaStock actually tests these basket of securities, you'll enter in your enter long conditions and your exit conditions. Imagine this is our chart, and what MetaStock will do is it'll put its buy signals in, and it'll place its sell signals, put its buy signals in, place its sell signals, and then MetaStock, using the system tester, will calculate the profitability of that system. But what it does is it treats each trade or each stock as independent of the next stock that it tests. So first of all, it'll calculate the profitability of this particular stock. Then it'll move to the next stock and do the same thing. So it'll place its buys, it'll place its sells, and it will calculate the profitability again. Okay, so it doesn't actually refer back to see what's happening with our capital back here. Because imagine if our system had 5 or 6 trades already open, okay, and our capital had already been fully committed. Now, in this example here, let's say another trade comes up. In reality, we may not be able to take that trade because we don't have enough money. Right? Now, as you can see, that might be a little bit of one of the flaws within MetaStock, because remember, back testing, the goal is to try and have it reflect as closely to reality as possible. You want to make sure that this system is going to trade like if you were trading at real time. But MetaStock will treat each one as independent of the next one. Okay, so that's one of the flaws. Now, the other flaw that I just need to draw your attention to is in regards to the way it calculates its trailing stop losses. Okay, the way a trailing stop loss works. Are we familiar with trailing stop losses? It's just that, you know, it'll lock in profit as the share price moves up. Again, if we look at our chart, let's say that MetaStock receives a buy signal on this point in time. Now, MetaStock has difficulty remembering when it actually entered a stock. It can't actually flag that. It has difficulty flagging that and saying, that's when I get in. What will happen is, let's say the share price continues to trade, we're still in the trade, and the share price receives another entry signal. So we got one entry signal here, and we've got a second entry signal here. MetaStock doesn't remember when it actually entered the stock. It's now going to think that this is the new entry signal. And the reason it does that is because all those conditions that was exhibited over here are now exhibited over here. So it can't remember whether or not we were in the trade. Now, the problem with that is obviously your trailing stop losses, if they're calculated from like the highest price since entry, the effect is going to be that your trailing stop loss could move. Let me pose this for you. Again, we've entered the stock here, fantastic. Share price trades down, but what's happened here is it hasn't hit our initial stop loss, so we're still in the trade. Now the share price moves up and we get another entry signal, and that entry signal is below our first entry signal. Since a trailing stop loss is usually calculated from the highest price since entry, MetaStock now thinks this is our new entry. Okay, so what could happen is your trailing stop loss could be moved down. Now, do we know, should trailing stop losses or any stop loss ever move down? No, that's one thing you definitely can't do. So they're 2 of the major flaws within the MetaStock sort of system testing that you need to be aware of.